Hello everyone, this is Banter Bill, and welcome to TA Uppath Dungeon Guide. This guide is not a speedrunning guide, it is more of a pickup group guide to help you remember how to do the dungeon, or if you're new at the dungeon, to show you how to do the dungeon. In terms of class composition, I recommend at least one Guardian. His staff attacks will make killing these volatile blossoms, as you can see, much easier. In terms of other classes, really any class that has high melee DPS or any class in general. I'm using my warrior because that's my highest melee class. So to start off, the staff guardian is going to lead us through. We're going to run past these wolf dogs. The guardian popped his retreat there because they will knock you down. And these guys will knock you down as well. So I recommend having at least one skill instability if you do not have a guardian, or even if you do have a guardian, still have that skill instability. Once you pass those big tree guys, you're going to head towards the left into this crevice to get out of combat and switch your utilities if necessary. Try not to aggro the plants as you head towards this crevice. And once everyone is here, we're going to start killing the overgrown vines. These overgrown vines do have a knockdown attack, as you can just see. If you have classes that have stability, they can pop it there. If not, especially if you're in a pickup group, I recommend just dodging at that point. Thieves, you can blind these guys, so you can blind that attack, or you can interrupt that attack as well. So we're just going to rotate around, killing these nightmare vines. They will shoot spit at you, and the spit seems to be attracted to ranged characters. So I recommend, if you can organize it, 4 in melee and 1 in ranged. In fact, there are some safe range spots where you can range without getting hit from the spit. Those spots are behind the log on the northern side of the map, and near where the waypoint is going to spawn, near the northeast side of the map. If you can't handle that organization, or you're just in a regular pickup group, having everyone in melee is fine, but if you absolutely have to be at ranged, please do not stay near the melee characters, because they would prefer not to get hit by that spit. If you go down, there are blossoms nearby, and you can rally off the blossoms. So try to do that, because it is much easier to rally off the blossoms and to have someone try to pick you up while they're getting hit by spit. In fact, we are lucky here, and we are able to pick up our ally, even though he's being hit by spit. Once the outer vines are dead, just go straight towards the champion. If you have a full group of 5, you should just ignore the silver ones that spawn. If you're a Mesmer, you should try to drop your Time Warp in the latter half of this fight, when all 4 volatile blossoms are, when all 4 plants are spawned, and when the spit is going to be the problem most, because that's when you absolutely need that DPS. It's kind of hectic here at the end with all the spit, but our group manages to take down the champion with no deaths.
Oh, the horror. They've butchered him. I promise you, your death will not be in vain. There are 2 paths. Which one shall I open?
Alright, and here, since we're doing the up path, go ahead and choose up. Some people, including myself, call it the up path, even though you only choose up once. So, up, they are all the same path. On this part, you want to go full melee. Basically, your group is going to want to stack when they fight these spiders. These spiders do drop a lot of conditions, including cripple and weakness, so having condition removal can be helpful. If you're a mesmer, no field is especially helpful. Once you get up here, go ahead and stack on this crevice on the left to line of sight the spiders and group them to you, and just melee them down. Once you beat that group of spiders, you're going to want only one person to pull these next few groups and have the rest stay tightly packed in the corner. If you pull more than one group of spiders, it can be very difficult. There are 4 groups of spiders in total, one on the right, the middle, the left, and the back. So if you are the person pulling, try to only pull one group at a time. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this part because it's just killing more of the same. One of these spider groups has a stone touch spider, and that is the spider you want to kill first. As you can just see, I got dazed, and you can't stability through that. It acts like Thief's Basilisk Venom, and there's really nothing you can do other than survive. So we quickly took down those spiders, and now we're about to fight the boss. I recommend one ranged and one melee. You can, if you're new at this fight, I recommend staying completely at ranged. If you're more veteran, you can fight in melee as well. There is a gimmick to this boss, which I don't know how you would know unless you check the wiki or something, but if you're poisoned, you do 5 times as much damage. So a mesmer that gets poisoned can actually reflect her attacks for massive damage. In fact, if you manage to pull off a feedback after getting poisoned, you'll take off almost a quarter of the boss's health. So the boss alternates between her poison attack and her spit attack. You can reflect these, so it's useful to bring things like Wall of Reflection and Shield of Avenger. But again, I do not recommend bringing group condition removal in case someone is trying to do the 5 times damage trick. As you can see, I am failing here pretty hard. I got knocked down the first time, and I'm about to get knocked down again. So I'm not in the group here for staying in melee range. It's actually very risky to pick someone up while they are so close to Malrona. If any of those spits landed on me, I would have been dead. But thankfully they all missed. So I decided to back off for a while and do it the safe way and just fight at range, and that's perfectly fine. If you just stay completely away from her, it's really easy to avoid her attacks. You have plenty of time to avoid those AoEs. So I try one more time to go back in melee, and this time I actually do a pretty good job, and I don't get hit again. Her wind-up for her ranged attack is pretty obvious, and again, she always alternates between the poison attack, range attack, poison attack, range attack.
I feel good.
In fact, we managed to get her in to one of the corners using knockback right here. Maybe I called that too soon. Yes, right there. And that actually made it much easier to dodge her attacks. Alright, and we take down Malrona. Don't forget her champion bag, and we're about to run through the next part. Again, if you're a guardian, you should bring your staff to kill these volatile blossoms. And everyone else should just stay behind the guardian as he kills the volatile blossoms and clears the way. You do not need stability for this part, but blocks and condition removal can be helpful because you get crippled and poisoned. So we're just going to keep running straight to the next boss. Again, staying behind our guardian.
I feel good. You treacherous monster.
And once we get back into this hallway, you should lose aggro from the spiders, and we're going to stack in this corner. Everyone should stack in this corner while one person will pull the boss. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this part because it can get a bit tedious. So our guardian is staying and is waiting for the pull, and the rest of us are going to stay in this stack. He's actually waiting for the ants to die, but they die relatively quickly, so you can go ahead and pull them even with the ants there. Alright, once she's pulled to here, if you can manage it, you want to pull her towards you before she gets a stack of Defiant. If not, just try to bring her out of the egg room, and you can just melee her down from here. She is a relatively easy boss, and you can heal through most of her attacks. She sometimes turns into spider mode, which means she just does more damage in melee, but again, it is relatively easy. So we go ahead and take her down and pick up our champ bag. As you go through this room, do not hit any of the spider eggs. And then we're going to make our way here after getting the chest and wait for our guardian because we're going to skip the next part as well. Alright, the guardian popped retreat, and the first group of mobs can knock you down, so using either retreat or stand your ground is very useful. So the guardian clears those, and I just hang back a bit, waiting for him to bring his staff to clear the volatile blossoms, and we just run through all these archers. In fact, he was so good at protecting me, I didn't even get in combat that whole time. And we're just going to wait here for our teammate to make the run. I'll go ahead and fast forward. And we're back. I just went ahead and cut out the part where our teammate was catching up. For this next group, if you're new, I recommend staying at ranged, although you can melee these next two as well. You want to kill the silver mob first, but watch out for his knockdown attack. You can either use stability to avoid it, or just dodge and avoid it as a pretty obvious windup. And I just go ahead and knock him down. I also, as a warrior, changed to Banner of Strength for this fight, because on the next fight, the Precision Banner, Banner of Accuracy, is useless because you cannot critical hit the boss. So I go ahead and switch to Banner of Strength now, because the cooldown won't be up before the next boss. So I just go ahead and melee down this boss, going back at range a little bit when I need to heal, and our guardian is just taking most of the damage. If you do go down, you can rally off of a volatile blossom, so I recommend trying to fight this guy in the middle if you can manage it. Alright, and we go ahead and take down this guy. I switch to a max range weapon. You want to switch to a weapon with 1200 range. I also switch to Frenzy because you are not going to get hit during this fight if you stand in the right places, and if you stand in the wrong place, then if you just dodge at the right time. You want to fight this boss with your max range weapons on the left hand side. You can fight on this thorn here that I'm standing on. For this fight though, I decided to try a new place off to the left, and I don't think I got hit once, so that place I think works as well. But just stand at max range and fire away. He will spawn some turrets, which if you're too close to one, you should go ahead and kill, but otherwise, just focus on the boss. and I'm going to fast forward and I'll meet you at the end. So once you beat the boss, you are done with the dungeon. He does not drop a champion chest, so if you want to switch characters before you kill him, you won't even lose out on anything. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.